and welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo,
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
and welcome to episode 150. Can you believe it? 150 episodes. That's like
I believe it.
150.
One more than last week.
what?
I
No, we're
know.
not counting, are we?
That's how math works.
What was interesting is, I was going through, Facebook, and they were like, "Hey, you got your memories," and stuff was picking up, and it was like, 150, doing this and doing that, and some of the stuff is coming back around for, More Than Dice, and I'm
Okay,
like,
what
what?
happened to the sound?
What?
Uh,
Hold on, I see it.
is that any better?
I see it. I got it. I got it.
Oh, it was on Gonzo's side.
No, it was you had your mic on still. On the audio mixer over here, it had the mic. Your mic was turned on instead of going through the desktop audio. Fixed.
That's Gonzo's fault.
Yeah.
Gonzo's fault, yeah.
But I was going through Facebook feed trying to figure out, all this stuff, and the memories were popping up about More Than Dice, and I was like, damn, has it really been that long? I was like, holy shit, it has been. And then it was like 150 episodes, and I'm like, that's a lot of fucking episodes. That's not even counting like all the like John, you did your little movie emergencies and everything.
And minis and movies.
Yeah, minis and movies, and then Kathy streaming, 4 times a week, and then me doing like I did that one 24-hour stream and all this other stuff, and I was like, man, we some busy people. You can keep your cider, Legionnaires. I can't stand cider. Mm-mm.
I like
Nope.
cider.
Nope. 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 So, let's go and get all the business out of the way. We want to thank Lynn from Metalhead Minis for I have more than one job, Banyan, for putting up all of our stuff so we can be purchased from y'all, and also just being an all-around awesome lady. If you check it out, make sure you check out her store. You can find out not only stuff from More Than Dice, her stream and her store, and also for Warfare Weekend. We also want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting our stream so we can get it out to more people. If you can't find us on Muse on Minis, you can always find us on every RSS feed out there in the world.
All
All of them. It's amazing how many are out there. Tectonic Crash Studios, Dan the Man. We want to thank him. He is doing some new stuff pretty soon, and I've got some stuff that we're probably going to give away at the beginning of the year. That is his. My glue is not capped. And then I want to thank we are a creature creator, which will be doing some painting of some creature caster models sometime soon, especially the new stuff coming out for Judgment, because I got 2 of those models, which some people are looking to get into with the new designs, because they released some of the new models and resculpts recently, which they looked really sweet. John, what tributes do we have? Salutes do we have?
none that I know of, but I'm really busy during the week. I don't actually see all that.
I know that there were 2 that I knew of. The guy that played the president on
Oh, Tiny Lester, yes.
yeah, he
I
passed
felt like
away.
that was last week. Good lord.
Was it last week?
No, it felt like it was last week, but you're right, it was.
Yeah, there was that one, and then a lady that was played on Steel Magnolias, African American lady. I can't remember her name either. Jeez. She's an older lady. She actually passed away.
Charlie Pride, yeah. Charlie Pride, actually. I just saw that one today, now I think about it. That one pisses me off because he went to the Country Music Awards, which they weren't wearing fucking masks, and then he fucking got COVID and
Oh, yeah.
died. Good job, guys. Lifetime Achievement Award, and then you fucking cost him his life. Hats off. Fuckers. Pardon me. Definitely drinking the Charlie Pride, man.
Yeah,
Didn't
there
deserve
was another lady that got an African American lady. I can't remember her name, but she passed away recently, and she was doing something. Oh, we got
I mean, I never saw Steel Magnolias, which should shock precisely no one.
Carol Sutton. She did.
I have never heard of her.
She did Steel Magnolias. She's done quite a lot, but she's an older lady. Treme, just some different stuff. Um,
Also,
pretty from New
those
Orleans.
things, like, oh god damn it, how Chuck Yeager, for fuck's sake,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, I did see
plenty
an
of. I forgot about Chuck Yeager. I mean, it's one of those ones where you don't doesn't feel tragic, long life, it happens, but still need to remember those.
Yeah, she was in Lovecraft Country. She was in like some smaller stuff, but she was there. I did see an interesting tribute to Chuck Yeager, and it's the pearly gates, and this
Yep.
big old trail through it, and it's like smashing through the gate and broke through it, and goes, "Oh, there's Chuck."
That would be Chuck Yeager.
So, um, so we do have that. John, what are you drinking today? John, what are you
Um, I have a Moscow mule
drinking?
because I
Okay.
still only have vodka, so
You still
only so much I can make.
Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking tea.
Tea?
In fact, it's not Earl Grey even. I believe it's no, no. You know what? It is.
It is Earl Grey. No
It's
rum and coke tonight.
the decaf Earl Grey.
Decaf Pearl Grey. Holy moly! What do you like? Go to sleep at night or something?
It's good.
I have a lovely glass here, or cup, for me to drink from. If you miss a pre-ramble, I am on antibiotics, so I get to drink water tonight. So, John, you're going to drink enough for all three of us.
You don't want that to happen. I really have to work tomorrow. I literally am unable to take a day off for the next weeks.
So, guys, please protect yourself. Please wear a mask. Please look out for each other.
Wear a mask. If you're in one of those places where they're not all wearing masks, you should probably leave. Be safe.
Be super
Don't
safe.
be involved in that.
Because as we all know, the mask is not to protect you, it's to protect other people from you.
Yeah, remember those people who aren't wearing the masks are because they don't fucking care about you. And respectfully, fuck those people.
Guys, please be safe out there. I've had way too many of my friends just come down with COVID, and I'm not happy with that. I want everybody to come back and see us, and come back and enjoy. Besides, you gotta watch Kathy paint. So, guys, from all of us to all y'all, happy holidays and cheers.
Cheers.
Which, talking about the show, next week we will not be on air.
Indeed.
that is
I
For
correct.
mean,
holiday break.
I will be painting at my normal time, Kathy paints, but our podcast will be off for the holidays.
Yeah, next Sunday we will not be on air. It'll be our holiday break, and then we'll come back and do all that cool stuff.
I will be busy making Christmas cookies. I'll be making gingerbread cookies and nutmeg cookies. And the following week after that, I will be streaming decorating cookies instead of painting minis.
It's a hobby. Hobby time is real.
So that should be interesting. Scotty found Scotch ale in his fridge. Scotch egg. That's something totally different.
Entirely different, as a matter of fact.
Although still good.
Opinions
Still
vary.
good. I mean, you could enjoy Scotch eggs with a Scotch ale, I'm thinking.
Possibly. All right, let's make sure. Is everybody here? It's okay? Because it looks like there's a bunch of stuff on here that should not be in here. Should have checked this out before we went live, but I didn't.
I didn't do anything.
Kathy did.
I did
Kathy
nothing.
does all the stuff.
Hi, Mel. Scotch eggs.
No
Oh, I
Scotch
can't win them all,
eggs.
Scotty.
What? Hey, Malite.
Oh, John, you're like really messed up in the screen. What the heck's going on?
I mean, it's just simulating real life.
It's all Gonzo's fault, though.
A little messed up in general. Let's just be honest.
Okay, so I am going to be painting a model. There's a Patreon and Patreon I belong to, and they do a monthly thing. You print off one of their models, paint it up, and they give away first, second, third place. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it with one of our favorite models. I'm going to put on my glasses that we printed off, and I'm going to do it with the. This is like really.
Is that what you're calling him, Yakitori?
Yakitori.
That's Legionnaires.
Legionnaires call him Yakitori.
Yeah.
Like this.
And
So-
tell him yakety yak. Don't talk back.
I'm gonna do the Yak Monk as the model that was from the
I
thing.
was just thinking of a monk puking there. It's the yak monk.
Yakety sax. I love yakety sax. And yes, I know it's yakety sax, not the Benny Hill song, because man, Boots Randolph fucking played the shit out of that song. Sorry. It's one of those things that I like. And it's
So-
appropriate in all those Benny Hill scenes. It's good, but man, it has been there's going to need to be respect for that song, because you play that on a sax, that is a fucking hell of a thing.
So I did prime this guy black, if y'all remember correctly.
I don't.
I
when
don't remember that.
Did that last week before
We
the
don't pay
podcast.
attention.
I
No.
primed him black, but then I went and took him out there because I did whatever, like something that Kathy was telling me about, and I undercoated it with black, but I only did white. It's kind of gonna be kind of hard to see, probably.
No, actually, we can see it quite well when you turn it like that.
Okay,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Until you turn it like that, it looks just white.
correct, because this
Hey, backlog battles.
is here, no problem. But when you go underneath, you can definitely see that it's got, the black and you know,
Yeah.
for shading purposes. I wanted the light to come more from like this direction, so that's where it's got most of the white. I am going to use some contrast paints, especially for the robe. I'm going to do brown. I want to do like this blue and maybe gold, and these are going to be like a bronze.
Not going to be a saffron robe.
No. Because see, these monks, the story of
not
these
gonna be.
monks and this monk in
Shot
particular.
that down fast. No,
No.
Yeah.
no. Not gonna. What are you even talking about, Kathy? That's a stupid idea.
Well, he's a yak monk, so is he really going to wear leather or something? Or is he
He's
going to
wearing
find
actually, it's yak robes. See, they take their.
What, like pashmina?
That's only slightly fucked up. I mean, come on. They kill
I
yak.
mean, you're
they kill
going
rope.
to
It's like
you're
a human
going
wearing
to-
human skin.
no, it's the pashmina. The wool of the belly of the yak, and it's woven, and then it's like a sort of a brocade. It's got a little pattern to it, so you're gonna freehand all these fun, intricate patterns on it, right?
Kathy, you're using words that I have to assume that you're using correctly, because I don't
What
know
the fuck you're talking about?
I understand the concept of taking yak hair and making a fine, but we would just call it yak hair, not whatever word you use for it.
Pashmina.
Or that word,
So
yak hair.
his robe is going to be your standard brown.
Evens.
But the one thing I want to do is I do want to do his eyes like a glowing, like a light blue white. So he's going to go like an icy,
Really brown robes? That's
Yep.
kind of bland, do you think?
Well, it's going to be the base color is going to be brown, but of course, like the symbols on his, these little things are going to be bronze. I'm going to do this blue. This is probably going to be a little bit of gold or maybe a red.
Yeah, interest you in perhaps a good solid green for the robes. Would look a lot better, I think.
No,
Okay.
it's going to be brown.
Hey,
I want them. I want it to be. I want the base color to be brown because
UPS yak.
the yak is going to be probably a darker tone because this guy's like going to be kind of evilish in a way.
Yak tannish.
Wait,
No,
he's
don't even know what a
evil?
yak looks like. Let's see.
They have whitish hair. They're really light in color.
Yes.
But I wanted to see to be sure. No, there's a bunch of colors.
Be
There's
sure. Yeah,
many
be
colors in the
sure.
yak. Oh, dark ones. Okay.
Like
But he's
snow
gonna be
yak.
darker. But the hair is gonna be a lighter color. So, but I wanted to get at least the robe done in contrast paint today, and I think I want to do
Brown.
No, not brown. No.
Are yaks friendly? This is a popular question on Google apparently. Yaks are friendly to people they know. Okay, good. Most animals are friendly to people they know. What is the female yak called?
It's gonna be too red.
Apparently a Dree. DRI. Very good. The more you know.
Huh.
But I think I'm going to use the contract snake bite leather, maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
Flesh is a little too.
Yes, that seems like a good idea.
Um,
Sounds like a plan. I don't know why I thought they were like a tannish color, but
no.
the pictures definitely show a much more darker color for yaks.
Oh, I did do a new print from the Nightmare, the new Christmas one, and I did print off the troll. I know it's going to be kind of hard to see, but this was the standard size. I didn't supersize it or anything. I got to glue the back piece back on.
Does he have 4 arms?
Yes, he has 4 arms and 2 heads.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and each of his forearms has a forearm.
Hey, Banion, walk up there and smack him.
I dare you.
But as I was printing it, I noticed that his horn didn't print, so I just broke it off. It was like really flat, so I was like, okay, doesn't matter. It's a troll. Trolls can have broken horns. And he lost a pinky. The pinky didn't print.
He lost a pinky in the war.
So I'm like, okay, he lost a pinky. Who cares? So I wanted to print him off because he was a pretty cool looking troll model.
It's like Stumpy.
Yeah. All right. So.
It's called character. Now he has it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to try to I want to get the base color of his robes done today. And I haven't tried painting the contrast paint on like the darker, insides where I've done the black undercoat. Because when you do like this, of course, the blacks, it's easy to see. So I'm kind of curious to see how this does. Which hopefully I think it does. It does really neat because it's easy shading, but you never know. And like these little like tassels and such, I was going to do those over like a really light tannish thing. That's my start of my purpose. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
We're having important discussions in the chat room.
Oh, I know. Everything's more important in the chat room than it is with me.
I mean, yeah.
We're just waiting to see what contrast snakebite leather looks like on this guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it.
Waiting with bated breath, one might say.
We're riveted.
Waiting with bated breath.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get.
Most Magic makes a good point. Aren't trolls known for their regen abilities, their regenerating abilities? That's true. That's true. But what if somehow the pinky was taken off and then it was like cauterized somehow with flame?
All right, so let me make sure.
So Banian says you need to be there to poke you with a stick. Do something.
Do something. I'm getting there. Chill.
I mean, Dex, you do need to chill. It was like 60 today. It got really warm.
Lies.
No, those aren't lies. That's the truth.
Aspiringly says, I want to say that acid and flame stop regen. He had all his fingers until the Fire Nation attacked. See, right. Thank you, Mo. Yeah. It was an accident with fire during the war.
Well, Captain Mizzy and Comic Scotty Putty, that is why we don't live in that part of the country. Like some snow here or there, but not too much of it. Actually, I guess your people probably know how to drive in the snow, so that would probably be a bonus. Our people are just
idiots.
Our people like to think that they know how to drive in the snow.
That's worse.
They live here, so they go, oh yeah, we all know how to drive in the snow, but that's really not true.
Hell, they don't know how to drive in regular conditions. I went to go pick my mom up from the airport on Thursday, and a 22-minute drive took me an hour because there was this giant accident. People don't know how to drive.
And we still don't have snow in Chicago. It rained the night before last, and then last night it was in the 20s.
We got snow today. Of course, nothing stuck.
And by
Wow.
20s, I mean, you know what? I don't even know what is that in
Celsius.
Canadian units.
Canadian units.
It's a C for Christ's sakes. 20 in Canadian units would be like what, -8, something like
That
that.
sounds right. That sounds about right.
Negative something.
Yeah.
-8 sounds about right. I have to do it in my head. I only know freedom units. Oh,
Captain Mizzy says people in Arkansas they don't know how to drive in snow. They can't even drive in rain. That's how it is here. Yeah,
I
God
like to
forbid
think
it
like
rains.
maybe drivers everywhere are pretty much the same, and we just make them worse or not worse based off of our personal experience.
But they
You
even
know?
Beanie
Wow.
on in Arkansas, the cars they have are like on the Flintstones.
Yeah, we have to pedal. And the ones in the cars that we have in Louisiana, they're just the old swamp boats.
Yep.
Everybody uses swamp boats. You know,
Why
Even
would,
on the interstate.
I actually got that question asked to me because I lived in Louisiana. That's where I went to high school, and we had someone that was like, "Do y'all actually have swamp boats that y'all go to school in?" And I'm like, "The fuck." It's like, really?
and here we are making fun of everyone, which is fine.
Including ourselves.
Oh yeah. Look, I will freely admit that Maryland drivers are probably worse than most. We got some great
Yeah.
idiots.
I have driven in Maryland and it is pretty scary.
Yeah.
At
Like on my
least when
way
I was
back.
driving in New York, I was surrounded by taxi drivers.
Yeah.
Instead of just, regular people. In Maryland, it's just everybody driving everywhere, and the
In a big
population
hurry to
is
get.
just it's
Yeah.
so dense there. And I was in the Crownsville area, just right outside Annapolis.
With all the crazy people.
And in Annapolis, the streets were not built for that much traffic.
Oh, you mean the oldest city in Maryland? No, no, they were
Yeah,
not.
as it turns out, 300 years ago, they didn't anticipate all this car traffic.
To be fair though, you have to get to downtown Annapolis where it's like that. In the outskirts of Annapolis, where most people go most of the time, it's fine. But yeah, when you get down there, lots of one-way streets, lots of
I
craziness,
used to
no
drive
park.
past the asylum all the time because it's right down the street from the Renaissance Festival.
Used to be. I think they moved it. I mean, at this point, the crazy people seem like they're everywhere. We don't need to keep it in one spot. We're all crazy. Is there a song like that? Quiet Riot?
Crazy.
You're thinking of Ozzy Osbourne, which is not Quiet Riot, but
No,
fair enough. Just let them all out. That makes sense.
it was the 1980s.
The 80s. I feel like I should be paying something, not just watching Gunzo.
I know, right? What's our topic?
It's hobby day. He's just hobbying.
You know what's funny about the color on your yak right now? It looks a lot like the color on my Space Marine that has the phthalo green jump back.
You're right.
That looks like the same color.
So he probably looks differently in person than over video. Over video, he looks like a totally different color. He looks like a much greener sort of brown on the video. But
Does he?
you know how the lights make things look differently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There is a lot of reflection because the oil paint is slightly glossy.
Yep.
Reflecting the that brilliant saturated green color of the jump pack. Oh, hey. Is that what you were working on?
Yep, that's what I'm working on. There's lots of stuff you can do or not do or whatever. At some point, I'm just going to start hitting them with a wash. I need to come up with a better color for some of these cables. I did yellow, but the yellow blends in too much with the brass I used for trims, so I need something else. Might just go red, the dark red, so they stand out, but not too much.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It seems like
yellow next to a metallic gold or brass is gonna definitely just blend in.
oh yeah, because if you look on his Reaper Chainsword, you can see some yellow stuff in here, but then there's also brass, and so it just sort of blends in.
Well, I mean, the gold is essentially a yellow just with
Yep,
metallic flakes in it.
indeed, indeed. But I like to do a lot of placeholder colors for stuff like that, and then come back and go over it with something else. If you use something light enough, you can easily paint over it. So
Scotty has
most
a
magic,
question.
yeah. We have two questions.
So contrast paints, you don't paint them on like a wash, right? They're just a very thin paint where the shading underneath is supposed to show through. So you do paint them on like a wash. Well,
Sort of.
Sort of.
he's just slapping it on, and it is very transparent,
Hmm.
but where it seeps into the recesses, it stays darker. So it's kind of like it's shading.
Yeah, it's like an Uber wash. It's like a step between a wash and the old inks that GW used to have.
Yeah. But if you do zenithal highlighting on the model like Gonzo did, where he did it black and then he sprayed white to get the sort of highlights, then that just enhances that.
Yeah, you just
And
have to
Mo's
order.
Magic says I was grabbing grub when you guys talked about the mini. Is it going to be all contrast or just trying the snake bite?
A good portion of contrast paint. There are certain ones that I won't be able to be contrast paints, like any metallics, but possibly I can because I did do my Iron Man with contrast paints. I painted it with silver first and then contrast painted over that, and it turned out
Yep,
really well.
that is one of the tricks.
Yeah.
It also depends on what colors
Yeah,
you're
there are certain
using.
things you're not going to want to paint just contrast. It's a
Yeah.
good, we say this a lot. It's a good tool in your toolbox, but don't lean on it for everything because, like Kovnik Scotty Buddy said, it slaps on his ogres and it didn't look great, but his Mega Gargant looks much better. So it's one of those
Broad,
things.
flat surfaces are not as good
No,
for contrast paint because there's no recesses. Like the robe that Gonzo is painting right now has a lot of organic little
yep,
folds and
Flows.
everything. So,
texture. Need some texture.
yeah. So the contrast paint will sink into all those crevices.
Now you can paint like a Space Marine a lighter blue than you intend, and then use contrast over the darker blue. It'll get like a whole bunch of those areas where you want it deeper and all that. But that'll work. That's actually a good solid tip for that.
A good
Scotty says
portion.
they also got 10 of them without knowing anything about them. Ah, yeah. And excuse me, different ones are more transparent
Same thing,
and
Kat. Some are better, some are worse.
other ones are more opaque or they're more staining.
Yeah,
Like the shyish purple
Oh yeah.
is very dark when you apply it and it
yeah, it
really
is.
stains. So it's disappointing if you want something that is going to be really a light color with just a small shade of purple in it. And that's when you want the medium where you
Or,
can thin that down.
or honestly, with the purple, just use the Leviathan purple or whatever it's called now. Wash. It's good enough. Like
Yeah.
honestly, if you think the wash will do the job, just use the wash instead. If you think you need that extra punch, go to the contrast. I use them mostly as Uber washes. I rarely use them like Gonzo
Or,
does.
don't be afraid to mix them together too,
Yeah,
just to try something different.
mess
Yeah. I mean, I'm
around with it.
trying to be, I could just take the entire brush and just wash it all over it. Now my guy's falling over. And just be there and just, slap it around like people suggest.
We
But I'm
call it a
trying,
targeted wash.
yeah, because I'm going to have to repaint over where the brown is going over the white areas that I want to paint a different color because it's, all staining in that area.
That is why my boy Dave Taylor says that the best thing you can develop is brush control.
Yeah,
That
Hmm.
is the key to quickness.
yeah.
And
And
I
this
do
right
not
here
have.
is contrast paints will give you good brush control, you know, to test it out and get things going. Because like right here, where I'm working on this part right here, it got on that little area, which is not going to be bad. It's just you got to go back and touch it up with a white, so it'll, you know, you can reuse a different color to get in there of
In
whatever color you
contrast,
want
you
to do.
really got to, if you use a lot of contrast, you got to be careful to make sure you are painting it in the proper order. So, like, deepest parts first. Like, Gonzo luckily has there where there's not too much edging his flesh, but there are a couple places he's got to be super duper extra
Yeah,
careful.
like right in here. And that's the reason why it's like it's just this little bitty fold
And
in the
and
robe.
that's why I don't use it with everything, because there are points like that where if you fuck up, you're just talking like
You
I
gotta,
could spend a whole hobby streak having to fix up something like that.
Yeah, because then you just have to let it dry, paint over it,
Yep.
do it again. Which I
Again.
mean, it's frustrating, but it's not the end of the world when that happens.
Oh
no.
no, that's not the end of the world, but man, sometimes just like, "Frah,"
I
especially
do
since I'm
like a
trying to
lot
finish
of
up model that started years ago or a long time ago.
certain contrast paints are really, 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 really good, and like I love the browns. The browns do really, really well. Um,
Snakebite leather was always my favorite, one of my favorite Games Workshop colors back when they used to make that as a regular paint.
yeah,
But it's always been a lighter consistency than other browns. It's always been a lot closer, like that, almost the contrast paint back in the day, where it was just not quite as the coverage wasn't as good. It was
It
as
was
like say
it was a
translucent.
more translucent color for sure. Maybe that's why I liked it too, partly.
That and bubonic brown.
Yeah, oh yeah, I liked bubonic brown too.
Bubonic brown was my way to paint certain horses.
Now you can make a snakebite leather by adding Reaper clear yellow and clear purple together and a tiny smidge of green with
That
it.
sounds a lot like work.
I mean, if you don't have snakebite leather and you want snakebite leather,
Fair.
it's really not that much work.
the one thing I want to do with this model also, because I was inspired by your little bases, Kathy, was doing a custom base for him instead of doing the one that was from the um, Patreon, and do a snowy base where he's like standing on the edge of a cliff.
Oh,
And the one technique that I wanted to try, I mean, I'm using the crushed glass snow, which I really, really like. Makes really pretty snow. I like the, you know, the shiny glass snow, but icicles, which I've never done before, where you take clear plastic, melt it, and stretch it. I haven't tried that yet, and I think I want to do that because my idea is to take like like here
or
like here's the base, and then build up with cork and do like a
mhm.
little ridge for him to stand on, and then do like the icicles coming down. I don't know, sorry. Do like icicles coming down and stuff like this and do the snow, but make it like, you know, is
Yeah.
smaller and then,
Oh,
you know, ridge going over it. Because he's actually,
So
he's got a pretty wide stance.
yeah, that's just
yep,
layering on cork. That's pretty fine.
Yeah, which is no
has
Layer it
a
on and
bunch
cut it.
of
Yeah.
videos where he's using the crushed glass snow and he will do icicles using golden acrylics heavy gel medium, and it's clear, it's thick. So you could do, and what he does is he'll glob it on and then he'll take the brush and sort of pull it down with the brush into little peaks where it's just hanging there. But if you also use a little bit of clear plastic, like blister plastic, in addition, you could get that stuff to just lump it around that and
Oh,
make
so like
even
a corridor.
longer, even longer ones. Now, it starts out kind of like Elmer's glue. It starts out looking a little milky. You just have to let it dry and then it gets all clear.
I did see a product that I want to get and test out recently. that I was thinking about using for my Kings of War army, my Northern Alliance, was the green stuff frost paint. It's
Oh yeah, I think
I
we're supposed to be getting some of that soon.
you have to, if you get it in, test it out and let me know what you think, because it is actually really cool looking. I was like, that's neat as shit, and I thought that would be kind of cool to,
The Green Stuff World Liquid Frost.
yeah.
Hmm.
The video on it was really, really neat, and I was like, that seems like it'd be really cool. I mean, of course, you'd be able to test it out, and so you can figure out how to use it and such.
Oh,
But yeah,
shit.
yeah. Post the link to the video in there in chat, will you? Because this stuff is legit cool. And I was like, that would be really neat, like on vehicles or, you know, it just looks really interesting and fun.
There you go. There's a link. You guys can also find it if you go just search Green Stuff World Liquid Frost on Google for those of you who are not following us live right now. And it'll come up real quickly. And you can click there, and the video's there at the bottom, along with other stuff they make. They make a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they make some really cool stuff.
Now they're not being dicks about stuff anymore. They're okay.
I almost got all of his robe painted. One thing I've learned about contrast paints, though, is contrast paints will leave a bubble or a hole in the paint. So you have to go back and look for a spot where the paint has kind of, I don't want to say peel away, but the paint has kind of moved away from that area, and so it's left a hole where that was.
Like an
So that'll
air.
happen to a lot of paints, like anything. So that's why you want to not rush through shit, like certain people,
Like John.
like John. Because sometimes I'm like, man, look at this fucking bubble. This is terrible, and it's hard to fix afterwards. So, yeah, go slower. It'll happen when you're priming. If you're priming by hand, it might happen if you prime by airbrush. I haven't done that yet, but it's on my list to set up. We just need to get some stuff done.
Speaking of priming by hand, I have 3 busts that are sitting here staring at me in their unprimed state. And I need to get those primed. Those will be getting the oil painting experiment on them.
So it'll be easier on larger scale models or on smaller scale models?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like it probably would be easier on larger scale models, but I could easily be proved wrong by doing it, and
Well, in the past, I thought everything would be easier on a larger scale model, and boy, is I wrong. You can get away with a lot of little shortcuts and shit on smaller models. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the on those Space Marine shoulder pads that I did, where I did the one with the white and it blends to the blue, and then the other one I did the yellow and that blends into the green. Those took me like 5 seconds to blend that. I just did a dot of white up at the top, and then I did the dark blue down on the opposite side of the shoulder pad, and then in the middle they kind of met. I took a clean brush and just sort of made little circular and just really light, barely touching the brush motion, so that the 2 colors would kind of meet and blend, and it took no time at all. I mean, people in the chat, people were like, wait, that's done? Wait, you just did that? Just like that. There was no like layering, there was no glazing, there was no, there was
Just
no effort.
Bob's your uncle. Jobs are good.
Yeah. So I was like, that's when I was like, oh, this has possibilities. Now I just need to figure out what colors work well with which other colors, because in oil paints, different colors have different properties, and I have to learn that. So there's a bit of a learning curve with these, and this week it was, I felt like I was 5 years old and my mom handed me one of those little plastic watercolor trays, with the shitty
Yep.
brush. And I was, and some construction paper or something, and I was just like, yeah, I just making a mess. That's how I felt this week in my first I what is it? I think I amassed 5 hours worth of maybe 6 hours worth of experience over the course of 4 days. And but it was fun. And did my stuff look not that good, or
I mean,
it looked not that good because I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, when you're testing stuff, it often looks weird. You're like, oh, okay, that's what we
Exactly.
have,
That's
quote unquote, test models.
that's just part of the process.
Yep.
Most Magic says that has been my issue with the oils, that and my fat fingers. Well, you know, we all have that problem. But yeah, it's there is a learning curve, and I did get peppered with questions as if I was James Wapple. And I'm like, I have no idea. I
I,
have
I
no clue. I cannot help you. This is hour one of me ever touching oils. I don't know anything.
one of the guys in my unit, Ferb, will always hit me up with questions about painting, and I'm like, all right, you're asking way beyond me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know a lot, but you're getting into like super advanced stuff that I do not know the answer to, son.
Yeah. Most
This is
Magic
the
says, yeah, but with acrylics, my fat fingers are less of an issue. So, Mo, do you mean like getting your fingers in the oil paint while it's still wet? Because I ran across this problem this week, and the problem is I have a habit of bracing my fingers on the model while I'm painting to get leverage,
oh yeah.
Yep.
and I have to break that habit somehow now.
Which
And
I was told I need to print you painting handles.
you were told that?
Yes.
Well, right now I have these pill cases for these two guys, which actually work pretty cool. Um, which is what people used to do before painting handles. But I wouldn't say no to painting handles either.
Well, I found a new painting handle which I might do. I have to get some more uh, materials to print with because I started something and I need to finish it. I wanted to design my own dice tray um, from scratch. And I had an idea to make and design my own dice tray, and I need to get more FDM stuff so I can print it before I could print this new paint handle I saw. And I was like, if this new paint handle works out, because the one that I did make, I liked it, but the problem I had with it was it used rubber bands, and the rubber bands did not do so well to hold
Um,
models in place.
Which means you need either smaller rubber bands or to make them tighter.
Yeah, well, the clip that they had was real tiny to hold on the rubber bands, and so someone designed a newer one, and it looked a lot sturdier and a lot neater. But I'll have to try it out.
I'll
Um,
also let you know that you need to be careful because certain bases will not be grabbed in there. I tried. Let's grab the model over here.
yeah,
Not like so. For Amanozaki, when I went to go finish her, I figured I'd put that in my GW large painting handle, right?
mhm.
Take it off this dowel. Yeah, that shit didn't work.
was it
It
still that
didn't
big
grab
enough?
on because the base doesn't have enough grabby bits. Let's say
Yeah, and
enough
this one
bits
looked like
for
it.
grab.
The one that I was looking at might be able to do that a little bit better.
Or these guys are hexagon bases. They're not going to get grabbed in there because it's made for circular bases. So I got
Huh.
to go and use these things. So having a wide variety of tools, having pill bottles around is still going to be necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the more tools you add, I've got a couple different paint holders, but so actually you can kind of grab them, but you got to be careful. So I'm a little worried. Irby here is in a painting handle. He's in a base, so you can kind of grab him. It's just less points of contact, so a little more. So that's another reason comics anybody. But but like Star Wars Legion bases work fine in there. So it's just apparently it was the Malifaux bases were no bueno. I'll have to try some more Malifaux models later. I'll let you guys know if it was maybe just the fact I'm using resin bases. Maybe it was just the resin base I was using. I could probably test out right now, actually. It is not going to work because that's too small. Hold on. Come here. I need to buy more paint handles. Come on. Come on. No, I think it might just be the base they're on because this worked fine in here. So, but just test them out. If I had let go, she would have gone flying because that was no bueno.
Yeah, the newest one that someone designed looked like it would work a whole lot better. So I gotta test. I gotta get some more testing to do with it. I gotta print it and then test it out.
Certain things you can't. For example, where is he? On my list of finishing up, the spider guy here. There's no way. Like, first off, I can put him on his base, which is over here painted, but it's going to be weird.
Did you just run a pin up into his belly to pin him to like a dowel or something?
Nope, I hold him.
Okay.
Old school. I do have a hole in his belly because I have a. Hold on. That is really stuck. There we go. I have a peg I'm cutting down the bottom to fit on his base. So the peg is going to go on the base, and then it's going to support him on the base because that does fuck that model. Like, seriously, whoever designed this model, fuck them. Why do you not make the model fit on the base? Is you learning too much from Privateer Pest? Stop it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I hate is not being able to have.
Yeah, think about how your models fit to the base when you're designing them, fuckers.
I mean, it can overlap a little bit, but some of them you're like, holy fuck.
Sure, if he's got 8 legs, if 4 of them are on the base solidly, then you've got enough points of contact. But when fucking 0 are, what do you do? Or you like
that makes it interesting.
Interesting. Work. Don't make my models more work. They should work out of the box without me having to do extra shit.
I agree 100% about that.
If they don't, you're done fucked up. But let's be honest. Sometimes people get overzealous in making their models look cool. That's when those pre-sculpted bases and, dare I say, tactical rocks become okay because they're necessary. I've seen a lot of models where tactical rocks are necessary because it's like a toe otherwise. And like model companies, toe on the base, not enough fucking surface area. Think about that shit.
Please stop that. Please stop it.
Man.
Toe on the base is just the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, fucking.
Or piece of ribbon coming off of your belt as the thing that touches the base. The hell were you thinking?
Exactly. Like, yeah, I've seen that can be creative. Most Magic said base creativity. Yeah, we can be creative, but it shouldn't have to out of the fucking box. That should be this model's almost floating through the air. You could make it floating through the air. I think it's looking solid. I think you're a little heavy in certain areas compared to others with the contrast paint, but I think that can be fixed up later.
Acid Burn Punk GW Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
I don't know what the new I know what the old Bloodthirsters look like, but now I have to look up the new Bloodthirster.
I'll be honest, Malifaux is one of the biggest offenders of that. They piss me off sometimes. I was gonna be like, motherfuckers, you make great models, but stop this bullshit.
Yeah. The connection of the toe really annoys me. If you're going to have them when they're like standing on a toe, have the entire leg connected to the rock, not just the toe.
I see what you're talking about, Acid Burn.
Yeah, flame on foot. Yep.
Yikes.
Get around it. Certain things. It's the nice, thin, very feminine models attached only by a toe, and you're not thinking about it. Make the toe come out to a wider plastic bit that attaches to the base. We'll find a way to cover that shit up. It's okay. That's okay to try and figure out.
Yeah.
But if you make it just a toe, even plastic glue's like, Nah, son, you done fucked up. That crazy.
Yeah.
And I will actually still attempt to pin things like that. Running a pin, filing the toe a little bit, just a little bit flat, making a little pilot divot, and running the drill bit up the length of the foot.
If you make that, and certain companies do, and like one of the best things PP ever did in their P3 hobby line was having their drill bits with the appropriate sized brass rod in one container. That is an amazing thing that more companies need to do.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's great. So you can go like, oh, here's the super duper thin. This thing barely fits in the base, but a pin might give it enough surface area.
Or how about you just sculpt it with the foot bent so that the whole foot touches? How about that?
Yeah, yeah. Make a better, make a better sculpt. It's like me going off like when everyone's, oh, because it's the model du jour on pictures right now. Fucking She-Hulk for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Everyone's like, that model is great. I'm like, no, it's fucking terrible. It's not how you pick up things. You do not put your foot on some pile of fucking rubble that might be unsteady to lift something heavy over your head. That is the opposite of what you fucking do.
You lift with your legs. Everybody knows that.
Just no, flat ground. That's how you lift that shit.
With your legs too.
Someone else said it on their fucking on one of their pages, like, how about you not put models with just flat on the feet flat on the ground for once? And I'm like, fucking thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
People are so obsessed with models looking at super dynamic, like ridiculously dynamic. They're so dynamic that it's insane.
it's so dynamic. It's not even impressive anymore. You're like, oh, yeah, good job.
Here's our hot take on dynamic models. I don't
Yeah.
even like the GW running Space Marine.
I was always a fan of the running Space Marine, but
I
it
never
also
liked
did
it.
have a small level of attachment, which
The
was a
thing
problem.
about that one that I didn't like is that it leans forward too far. So when you're painting the front of it and you have them on the tabletop, no one will see. No one will see the front of it because it's facing down. And
Yep.
every single one of their running anything was like the Beastmen were like that. All the Blood Bowl things that were running were angled forward. So I'm like, you can't even see the most interesting parts of the sculpt because they're all facing the table.
Well, so it's okay if like your whole Blood Bowl team is like that, and you sculpt the details like that, so that you put more focus on the shoulders and all that stuff that they can see, and less on the chest. Cool,
But they didn't.
but they didn't. Exactly.
Aspiring Leafs
Kathy,
is so dynamic they practically jump off the base when you try to attach them.
indeed.
Or even when you're touching them while you're playing.
Yep. So Kathy, those runny legs for Space Marines were actually like currency at Games Workshop.
Oh, they could have all of mine, man. I could have made a bundle.
Well, they all love me because every time a assault sprue was damaged, and they were damaged, when we finally had to get rid of them, I'm like, I'll take them. I just had bits for days. Oh, you need to make a whole army of runny legs? You need 100 of those fuckers? Let's talk, son. What you trading?
The Running Man.
I want to watch that now, actually.
Yes, I want to watch that too.
Is Sub-Zero now Plane Zero?
I haven't seen that in so long.
I remember one day I was sick, and my then future roommate Cree was also sick, and I suggested her watch it on Amazon because she had my Amazon login. And she's like, "What the hell did I just watch?" I'm like, "It's great, isn't it?" She's like, "I'm not sure it was great." I'm like, "It was great."
Acid Burn Punk says, I put a rock under their feet to make them face better with runners. That is exactly what I do, Acid Burn Punk. But to go back to John's original comment, I should not have to adjust the base so that they're angled the right way. But then that's just me.
Yeah.
That's my preference, is to have a guy that's looking forward, facing, up, so that you can see the most interesting parts of the sculpt. Now, if the back had the most interesting parts of the sculpt, I think I wouldn't care.
Acid Burn Crusher, right? Oh, Bane Handles right there. So like this model, there's plenty you can do with it because it just attaches here. There's plenty of spots for it to attach there. It's all great. I did pin it, of course, but you can do a lot with it because of the way they did it. So you can make a model that both attaches normally and has some ability to be posed. And I think that's what they need to do. And there's your mini rant
That's our
because,
mini rant. The mini rant
Hey.
about minis.
pun intended. Because me, it's always pun intended.
Speaking of, where is pun intended? Pun expected. That's what his name is. There's a guy who shows up in the chat called Pun Expected, and I love that name.
Well, I don't think he's here. Or they're here. I'm not going to assume.
I have to type a thing.
You have to type a thing or the thing.
A V thing. A thing. Okay,
Types of thing.
I'm done.
Very good.
Hey, what's our topic today?
There you go. That was our topic.
Oh, hey guys, it's almost time for the media section.
Topic was, let's see if we can get the rant. Yeah, rant achieved.
Hey, but you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Food for once. Usually we all go off on food, but this time.
Yeah, but that was the pre-ramble, you know. Well, usually, well, you're right. That does happen a lot, but no, I don't know what happened tonight. So
That's
what's
like-
the
like
color
these-
you're using on his hand?
It's just that Templar black.
Yeah, it's contrast black.
Okay.
I just want to do like his hands and his hoofs black, and then I'll go back and do some highlight on it because I mean the black is nice because it gives you that gray thing, but it needs a little more.
Let me push my glasses up here.
Good night,
Technically speaking,
Legionnaires.
Gonzo, shouldn't his hooves be a different color than his hands since they are definitely a different material than his hands?
You know, his
Hey,
hooves are
Banyan, 20
keratin. They're the
bucks.
same material as his fingernails. So really, they could be the same color as his hands.
Not his whole hands. There's his hands are fleshy. Those are not fleshy.
But it could be the same color. That's true.
Hey,
Or they could be lighter.
Hey, Banyan, you remember that Mad Cat you wanted printed? You can help me out by go bopping John on the head for me real quick.
I'll lead you real slow, real quiet. Ah,
Yeah, so let me get this black on his hand real quick, and then we'll switch over to media section because I have a decent amount of stuff to talk about.
I mean, we all have a lot of stuff to talk about, don't we?
I don't really have that much stuff to talk about.
Oh, you do.
You do. You just
Because
don't know.
everyone's got that much stuff to talk about.
Captain Mizzy posted a Instagram link.
For
I hope it's food.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
That is awesome. I would heart it, but I have to create an Instagram, an Instagram account
Oh
for
my
that.
god, that is so stinking cute. I want it as a miniature. And in my head, it's like he's wearing a backwards baseball hat. So like if he turned around, there would be the bill of the baseball hat.
Okay.
That's just in my head canon though.
Clean my brush off real quick. See a spot that I need to grab real quick. So I was at work this last week, and we were cleaning out our closets and just getting rid of junks. And Kathy, I saw something that you would have squealed over, and I stole it for myself. Not really stole it, but it was going to get thrown away. And it was these mini little plastic cups with lids. And ooh, that is really. And they're like cups about a little bit, maybe a silver dollar size, but like only about an inch tall.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I'm stealing those because those are going to make great, like, little, you know, fill them up with water and go for it type thing.
Yeah, or for if you're ever mixing two washes together,
Yep.
that's a good kind of thing for that.
Okay. So not bad on a little bit of an hour there. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with other stuff because I don't know if I want to do blue on the bottom of that, but we'll have to see. So let's go
On
ahead.
the border of his robe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I may do a picture of it and then do like
What shade of blue were you thinking of?
I was thinking about a darker blue, but I don't know. I may have to
Because
go
like
with a
a
lighter.
sky blue would be cool if you had that sort of a color.
Yeah, I may have to redo some of that. Let me look at this, Capty.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right, so I do have welcome to the media section. I do have a few things before we get into the Disney thing to talk about. What?
I can't. It's a spoiler.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not well.
Let's just say it's funny, and I saw it on Facebook because someone said they put it on Facebook for me to like it. Something else, so I have to
You'll have to send it directly to me then. Um,
send it directly to you because I can't send it otherwise, or can't do a spoiler.
yeah. So I watched something I've been putting together and I've been watching is I watch an episode here and there is Titans, the DC HBO Max series. Um,
Yeah, my condolences.
I don't know how I feel about this. It seems like
I
they're
saw it. I have access to watch it. I love the Teen Titans, but that is not. I
it,
saw the original trailers. It was not Teen Titans.
it's
It is
definitely
not
not
at all.
Teen Titans. They just renamed it Titans, which
Yeah.
means that
No.
it
Is
seems like
it
they're trying too
CW
hard.
Titans?
Well,
Uh,
when Dove is talking about killing people, and that's like the opposite of what Dove should do, I'm done. Just completely. You're not even close to that character. Get the fuck out.
yeah, I'm not entirely sold on Titans yet. I'm gonna keep watching it. I mean, because it's interesting enough because I want to know about the story and the characters. But it takes Teen Titans and throws it out the window and goes, "Here's the Titans, just the characters that you know as Teen Titans." It's very adult orientated, very violent. It's very dark type
Should not
thing.
be.
When Robin says "fuck Batman," it just seems like you're reaching type thing. But I understand where they're going with Robin.
Robin
Uh,
should never say fuck Batman. Nightwing would say fuck Batman,
correct. And he's
and that is an
transitioning,
important distinction.
and he's transitioning to Nightwing right now.
But it's still yeah, Edgelord
Edgelord
type.
Titans.
Yeah,
Titans
it's
of
kind of.
Edgelord.
It
Um,
just didn't seem. It didn't seem like it was going to be remotely true to Source Material. That's sort of the thing. Marvel does so well because it just is true enough to the source material. The characters are all true to who they should be for the most part.
correct.
So that you know, except for random left turns they do, like say the Mandarin.
And is
Um,
DC just the ones that are like some kid who's trying too hard to be cool?
I
Yes.
don't know.
I think
Yeah,
that's what it is. Is they're trying
they
to
don't know what they're doing. They're just throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks.
yeah. Because it was special effects. They're okay. Fight scenes are good. Characters are okay. It's just like they're trying too hard to be edgy and trying too hard to be the newest hotness and whatever. And I'm just like,
Look how edgy we are.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm like,
Wow. So you missed your decade. That was the 90s. Sorry. We're back to actual superhero stories now. Catch up, fuckers.
yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna finish watching the rest of it because I mean I've got plenty of time
Or
coming up.
you could just stop watching it now and just start watching something that you like.
It's not that I hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just kind of like,
Sounds like
okay.
Stockholm Syndrome to me.
Right now it's kind of a
Easy. We
meh.
need to have intervention. I think we need intervention.
No, I've got other things to watch. I've got a couple other shows I need to watch too. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely getting that meh rating. So That was just
Give
kind
it
of
as
like,
the
eh.
math rating. I would just not even waste any
Yeah,
more time
it's
on it
not worth my time for a TV series anymore.
since you have so many other things you want to watch.
Oh, I have time.
This is
for
a guy
that.
who's still trying to watch all of Clone Wars, which hasn't rated above May yet, but
Poor
that's
John.
different. No, it's all right. Actually, I've got a plan.
You're gonna fast forward through it 1.5 speed.
No, I'll
Good.
actually watch. Just gonna make time for it.
I did catch up, of course, on Mando and Discovery, and I really like the way everything's going. No spoilers, of course.
I'll
Mando's,
watch Discovery after Mando. It'll become well, maybe actually, because we can only watch that on the TV, so that's a little more difficult.
yeah, Mandalorian's still great, still good, great episode, and Discovery, another good episode. Um, I'm really, 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 really enjoying everything that's going through on this. Um, what else? I did watch a movie called Dead Don't Die with Bill Murray and
Adam Driver.
yes, and it was supposed to be really funny and really cool and really interesting.
The reviews were very mad on that.
It was very meh. There were some scenes because they do break the fourth wall a couple of times, which I thought it was actually pretty funny in a couple of places. But it wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be, especially with Bill Murray in there. It was just yeah, and the ending was just meh. So I give that one another 3.5 or 2.5 type thing. Meh, pass it. So my big thing that I'm going to talk about this time before we get into the Disney and Marvel.
Well,
Uh,
we got other stuff to talk besides that guy, so it's not all
oh,
about you.
I thought you didn't have anything because you didn't get to watch anything.
We even said in the preamble,
We
both Kathy and
did.
I got to watch things.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry, I was busy painting. Sorry,
You're
I'll
like,
hold off on my other
bitch.
review. Then go ahead, John.
No, Kathy has to go first.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I watched Romancing the Stone
Yay!
today. I really wanted to watch both Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile this weekend. However, I just didn't have time for both of them. So today I got Romancing the Stone, and it had been, I don't even know how many years since the
Oh.
last time I watched it. Enough years that there were parts of it where I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure I hadn't watched it since before I moved out of home. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it may have
Very
been,
divorced since then.
it was probably the 90s,
Yeah,
the last time I watched it.
90s. Yeah, absolutely agree.
So it was very fresh for me, and it was a lot of fun. It's such a fun movie, and there's Danny DeVito is just the comic relief. It was hilarious. He did
Used
such a
fairly
good job.
sparingly, which is good.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, actually, you get this, and for spoiler, I watched the next one, Jewel of the Nile. Really, Romancing Stone is sort of like a romance novel in movie form to a point.
Yeah.
It
Well, yeah.
subverts expectations, but other than that, it is very close to that, isn't it?
Pretty close. Yeah.
And then that sort of thing about Jewel of the Nile. The Jewel of the Nile, of course, is the sequel to it, set about 6 months later. And the whole premise of this is that Joan Wilder can't finish her next novel because, she doesn't know what happens next. She's living this jet set sort of lifestyle with Jack Colton, where they're sailing around the world in new ports, and she can't focus. So she gets basically asked to write a biography of a leader in Africa who's very charming and everything, asked her to come down there. And since they're sort of driving each other crazy anyway, she agrees to go. And then the story starts from there, where they have to find the Jewel of the Nile to stop what ends up being a crazy plot to take over a bunch of countries in Africa. A very short-sighted view of the geopolitics of that area, but it's an American movie. What the hell do you want? They don't know what the fuck's going on down there, especially not then. But it's almost as fun as the first one. In some ways, it's better because it has more Danny DeVito. He's still used sparingly, but he is third build. He and Jack Colton are teaming up to help out. And, the Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner have great chemistry together, and it's super fun. the other, the third member of the little group, I don't know, we'll call him Joe, is very amusing as well. And it's still a super fun movie. It's probably not as good as the first one, but it's still a good time. And it's unrealistic. It is, again, a lot like a romance novel in movie form. It's all over the top and crazy and generally super fun. I give it 1.5 space herpes. There are points it's just not as good. It's a little dated. But it's never not fun. All right, Gonzo, now you can go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I picked up Cyberpunk 2077. I did pick it up on my PlayStation 5, which it is just backwards compatible with the PS4 version. Supposedly they're going to do an update on the PS5 beginning of the year, which is okay. I understand that. I've played, I think I looked back and it was actually like 30 some odd hours. Now, I love the story. I love the world, everything else. Cyberpunk 2077. Great. We all know it. We all love it. You know, so on and so forth. Shadowrun without the magic and, you know, elves and dwarves and everything.
Wow, that's harsh because technically it's the other way around because Cyberpunk is slightly older.
Correct. But you understand what I'm saying, to give a clue. More people know about Shadowrun than they do Cyberpunk and some of the gist of it.
Ah! Like that, fuckers.
So I'm playing it. Graphics are kind of subpar for a top tier game on the PlayStation 5 and 4. I kind of disappointed in it. I did turn off all the little special film gradient and blur and all that, and it did get better and looks better. It is definitely on computers, on PC. It looks amazing if you have an amazing rig to run it. I've seen some of the videos of people that have played it on a computer with like a top tier machine, and it is gorgeous. Unbelievably gorgeous, too.
Let's guess. This is a state of the art AAA title, so.
Yes. You can definitely tell that it was not really optimized or anything for consoles, which is kind of horrible in my opinion, because the PlayStation 5 is amazing machine, and Valhalla has some of the best graphics I've seen in a video game in a long time, console wise.
I will counter that. Honestly, console users should be happy they're getting what ostensibly should be a computer only title, but they're actually putting the effort in to make it, you know, multi-platform.
Well, the thing is it wasn't even really done. Let me get through this, because one of the big complaints is the game is buggy as fuck. Oh my god. And I understand that they released it early because I'm sure they were getting shit from upstairs and people were giving them shit for, you know, not releasing it and holding it back. But damn, I'm playing the game and I think there's like a memory leak somewhere in it, because it crashes about every hour to 2 hours, depending on where I'm playing and what I'm doing. I'll be playing and driving to wherever I need to go, and it'll just crash. So I think it's a memory leak or something because no, my wiener has not popped out because I don't have a wiener in this character.
So man, it says it sounds like that's probably a problem with the consoles because I haven't heard that from anyone who played it on computer, and that sounds like one of those problems.
It's happening on all the platforms. All platforms are having issues. It has not been. It's got a lot of bugs.
Problems like that. Well, yeah, there's lots of bugs in it. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's been it from what I understand, it is almost near impossible to play on the PlayStation 4 if you don't have the Pro version. Now there's minor. I understand that this game is huge and it's going to have bug issues. There's nothing wrong with some bug issues. That's understandable with a large game. But this one is definitely overreaching in that, and I'm sure they're going to try to fix it. It's not as bad as No Man's Sky issues.
I've actually heard it's not even as bad as say Fallout 76.
Yeah, It's not. Well, Fallout 76 was a whole different another issue. It's
Well,
just there's
two
certain
of them.
things that they should have done in the game too that were just like, why didn't you put this in instead of this? No, I'm talking about. I'm not saying bugs are okay. I'm saying that there are some issues that I understand there might be a glitch here and there because it's such a hard game and you can't get everything down perfect.
Mhm.
Minor things. But some of the stuff that's just going in, like the driving is horrible in the game.
I've heard that multiple
The
times.
driving is horrible. For a AAA title, this should not have been that horrible. Um, graphic glitches, things they left out, like the train system. They were supposed to put a tram system in there, and it's actually in the game, and you can see it, and it's moving, and it's in there, but you can't get on it. You can't use it for fast travel. They took a lot of shortcuts, and you can tell, and it's bad. I enjoy the game because I see the potential of it. I'm still gonna play it. I love the story, I love the characters, the customization, the combat. I'm telling you right now that I'm going as a um, mantis blade assault rifle type character, and man, I love the mantis blades. They are so fun to play to leap across the area to an enemy and start beating the crap out of them. Um, but I've gone back to the old school of thinking that anytime I do something, I save the game instead of letting the autosave do it because it's not working correctly. Because there's many times I've had to go back and do stuff, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Um, I see the potential that they had. I see what they were trying to do. It just failed. And I'm really disappointed because I was really, really looking forward to this. So maybe 6 months or whatever, it'll be good. It'll be great. Um, because supposedly there's like a few hundred hours of gameplay involved in this, and maybe it'll get
Yeah,
there.
one of the guys said he played it for like 15 hours. And he's finally through what's basically the prologue to the actual story.
Correct. The prologue is very, very long. Um, but it's got some great memes. I'll tell you some of the really, I mean, character customization is amazing. Yes, you can pick your penis size, and you can pick whether you have a penis or a vagina. And you can make, trans. You can do everything. Character customization is amazing. The one thing one of the things I think is what they didn't do is it's in every game is helmet removal. You can have your character whether they show they have a helmet or not. That's like a standard in most games nowadays, and that wasn't even an option. And I was like, really? Because like some of the helmets are just fucking ugly, and I'm like, they made me choose this cool, awesome hairstyle with purple hair and shaved and like lazy mohawk, and I don't get to see it hardly ever because the helmet covers up and changes my hairstyle. So I'm like, fuck.
I mean, you're wearing a helmet.
Yeah. But I mean, usually you can have that, off. Um, I think it'll be awesome later on. So I would hold off on it. Right now, it would be don't buy it. Give it like 6 months after they've done some patches because they've already done some patches already and fixed some things.
I would
But it,
also suggest don't play it on a console. I'm sorry, play it on a computer if you can remotely do it.
yeah,
Check the requirements. See if you meet above what they say the recommended is. A little above the
yes,
recommended is what I'm hearing.
yeah.
Not a lot above, a little above recommended.
They definitely said that if you're running on a computer, you better make sure and check because it'll be like you're playing on a console and you'll be like, oh, this just sucks.
Yeah, and honestly, there's no reason to make a title like this on the console. Respectfully, console guys, this is not a game you guys should really even be thinking about playing on a
I
console.
I don't have a problem with it being on console. I really wish they would have, and I'm probably sure that they got pressured by upper management. They got pressured by the fans. It
Oh
should have
yeah,
waited at least another 6 more months, in my opinion, and then it would have been amazing.
yeah, but they would have had riots in the street for it.
Fuck them.
I
So
mean,
I'm very disappointed.
welcome to the video game crowd. If you
Yep.
don't get it out, I mean, they already delayed it twice, and people are already up in arms. They delayed it again. Oh no, it would have killed them. They had better take their money now and fix it later.
Yeah. Because like No Man's
Unfortunately.
Sky is an amazing game now, but it took
Now,
them so long. Yeah, and that's the key.
yeah.
That's where I think this is going to go.
Oh yeah,
Um, If anybody wants to rant with me about Cyberpunk 2077, let me know. I definitely will talk to you about it because I enjoy the game for what it is and how it works. If it wasn't for the bugs and the issues, like I said, I see the potential. The potential needs to hurry up and get there. So, let's talk about all the cool Disney and Marvel stuff coming out, John.
All right. Well, Disney had their investor whatever announcements, and they announced 10 new Star Wars films and/or series. I think it's 9 series in one film, along with a bunch of Marvel stuff. In order, they have sort of in the Mandalorian era, they have Rangers of the New Republic, which we know almost nothing about, and then Ahsoka, which will be cool.
Yeah, which
Still
we
starring
knew.
Rosario Dawson. Those are both theoretically live action, so we don't necessarily know with everything whether it's live action or not. They have Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which will be live action. Ewan McGregor coming back, and they do have Hayden Christensen coming back for some Darth Vader action apparently.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to.
And the only 2 more of these series do we have any information about, and that is Andor, which is the series about Cassian Andor. It will be live action with Diego Luna reprising his role. Interesting. I think that's a hard one to do because he's got a set end point for where his character should be. So see what kind of growth you can have in there, or just have a fun ride in the meantime. We'll see what they make. And then Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which is sort of a Clone Wars-ish era following The Bad Batch, which I assume is the clones they mentioned in the episode of the same name that I haven't watched yet.
Yes, it is though.
So spoiler, apparently they're in the preview for that. They do show what's her name, Ming-Na Wen's character from Mandalorian. So that's interesting. Then Star Wars Visions, Lando, The Acolyte, and a Droid Story are all other series. No one knows whether they're live action or what they're about. I mean, aside from obviously Lando is going to be about Lando Calrissian, and a Droid Story will be about droids. I assume Star Wars Visions is just going to be a collection of short stories, I expect. And then the movie they announced was Rogue Squadron, directed by Patty Jenkins, who's also done the Wonder Woman's movies. And I'm hyped. Like,
Yeah,
the rest of that, sure, that's all cool and all that, but Rogue Squadron, fuck yeah. But we're gonna have to wait till 2023 for that.
yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Like they're not even filming it yet, which is good because I mean you don't want to go too fast. They've already been raked over the coals for going too fast, so they're gonna slow down and get stuff right.
Well, which is interesting is there's a lot of TV shows coming out, all going, of course, to Disney Plus and everything.
We said that. They said months ago
Yeah.
that that's their new paradigm. They're mostly going to do that, and then less movie releases, and that was really before COVID became, fucking as long as it has been. Like, it was sort of the beginning of COVID. They're like, well, we're planning on doing this anyways, so it is what it is.
Well, I mean, but the thing is what I really like is they are doing that, and they've got a platform to do it on, and the money to go with it. Because, I mean,
And it
Mando
makes
has
it
just
more
been
worth it for
insane.
everyone.
Yeah,
Like most of us keep it because we love Disney stuff and we can watch it at any point. But there are people who I'm sure just wait till it's all out, pay for a month, binge it, get rid of it. You ain't gonna be able to do it anymore because you're gonna be like, I'll binge that and then that, and you're just gonna run out of time.
yeah.
They're giving you value for the money you put into Disney Plus, and I appreciate that greatly.
Yeah, I really like that and I really like that we're getting good. If everything goes as planned and they do it just as well as Mando, I'm going to be excited for it. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really want to see the Obi-Wan series because it's supposed to be, the young Darth Vader, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
I, I,
excited for young Darth Vader. I don't.
I want to
don't
see
know.
what they're going to do with it. I mean, because this is going to be an interesting take because it's never been done before.
I hope he's just there once or twice because
He's not like an entire episode or
or he's there here or there, but not like every episode or too much.
yeah,
Sort of like Moff Gideon shows up during The Mandalorian. You don't want to show him too much, just enough.
yeah, just enough to scare.
Before we go into the Marvel stuff, they've also announced they're doing the Willow series, and they have Warwick Davis returning, and they're doing another Indiana Jones movie, and theoretically Harrison Ford's back on board for that for Old as Hell Indy.
Old as hell, Indy.
We'll see how that goes. I don't hate the most recent Indiana Jones movie as much as everyone else. Or you guys think I do? I don't. In our sort of area of Uber, if you will, they're going to have, I mean, a Zootopia series, a Tiana series, a Moana series, a Baymax series,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other stuff. Buzz Lightyear prequel story with Chris Evans being Buzz Lightyear's voice. Okay. I don't really.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. And then the Marvel Studios stuff is a heck of a slate, too. So they're going to have a Miss Marvel series. That seems like more of a teen area one, which is appropriate for the Miss Marvel character that is currently in the comics.
correct.
And I'm happy for it. And they're all their casting jobs seem to be appropriately diverse, which is good. They have a Secret Invasion series starring Samuel L. Jackson, which is interesting because that's a Skrull thing.
Yep.
Ironheart, which is the person who took over for Iron Man. So that's interesting. And then Armor Wars starring Don Cheadle as Rhodey sounds awesome.
Yep.
They have an animated What If series, a Hawkeye series with Haley Steinfeld joining Jeremy Renner, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and I Am Groot looks like a cartoon. And then the ones we also have. So What If actually has a trailer already, which is interesting. It's going to be animated. And then the other ones we got trailers for are The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which if you don't know who's in that, they are not listening to the title. And that looks good because those two are just playing off each other very well in the trailer.
Yep.
The WandaVision trailer, one that actually makes you sort of realize not what's going on, because that's sort of the idea, is you don't know what's going on, but that something's going on, and it's not just, it's just weird, and there's some mind games going on there, which makes it seem interesting. Not my most excited one, to be honest. And then Loki, which is live action starring what's his face is Loki. No, I don't know his name off the top of my head. I've been drinking, sue me. I did notice Owen Wilson in the trailer though, which was amusing.
Yeah.
The trailer for that was pretty amusing. I definitely just check out all these trailers, guys. They're all over the place, YouTube, wherever. Just go. I mean, there's so much stuff coming out. Plus, I mean, they have so many other things on the slate already. They've got a Blade movie. I think it's a movie. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness movie, the Eternals movie, which will be the hardest sell, I think, because someone asked me, what are the Eternals? I'm like, that's going to take a while to explain.
Yep.
But more importantly, Thor Love and Thunder, which sounds interesting since I think it's going to have the Guardians in it as well. And then Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, and that's a deep take, too. Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, is not some people know, but I think that's also going to be set up for the new... for the actual Mandarin, since they teased that in the they called it Hail to the King short that came out after the last of the Marvel one-shot shorts with Ben Kingsley in it in prison, where he realized there is a real Mandarin and he's kind of pissed that he was impersonating him. And also, finally, they gave a little teaser for Fantastic Four done by Marvel.
Yep.
So we're going to
Another
call
one.
that Shots Fired. Done right.
I hope so, because I like Fantastic Four, the comic books. That's one of the comic books I read as a kid, one of the few that...
I didn't read a lot of it, but I've read enough to know what makes a good story, and I didn't hate the one that came out, the first one. I didn't see Rises of the Surfer because it looked bad and got worse reviews. I did not watch Fan Four Stick because that looked like a fucking train wreck, and spoiler, reviews has it was a train wreck. So, standards, I have them apparently. And I saw Cats, so keep that on your radar.
Yeah, because there's technically there's actually technically 4 Fantastic Four movies, but rebooted 3 times.
Well, so let's be honest, the one that, what's his name? Roger Corman did, doesn't count. That was literally never meant to be released and only meant to keep the rights secure for a longer time because of laws.
Correct.
It was cheaper to keep the right to make a shitty movie and keep the rights than to actually pay for the rights again. Also, apparently, there's an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania movie that's coming out also, but they barely have a logo for that. We'll have to see what that ends up being. So good lord, if you guys were not paying attention this week, find a million trailers on.
The Loki trailer was pretty good, and there's some pretty big Easter eggs in there
And
about
there's-
characters.
And there's still rumors there's going to be another series based off a character that just showed back up in The Mandalorian, but nothing official yet. And I'm
Yeah.
really trying hard to say that without spoiling anything for anyone.
Yeah, you can't say it.
Can't say it. Let's just say, if you've seen Mandalorian, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes. You're caught up with Mandalorian.
You're caught up. And we're actually hoping that someone else who showed up recurringly this last episode is in Rangers of the New Republic, because I was really impressed with his performance in this last episode.
Be interesting.
Very impressed. So there you go. Disney. If you don't have Disney Plus, it's worth the money. It's going to be worth the money real soon. I mean, I think it's worth the money now.
Yeah, it's
but
just going to get bigger.
It is really going to be worth the money. It's just they just throw in content. They're going to scare the rest of these other companies, because these other companies are not going to be able to keep up. I mean, how does Netflix keep? Netflix has a hard time keeping up as it is. Netflix is really going to have to keep doing good stuff after good stuff. Amazon Prime is going to keep doing good stuff after good stuff to keep up. It's a fight. It's a race. We only got three contenders. I mean, I know.
Those two are doing less. They seem to be worse now that everything is moving to Disney. All their content is moving to Disney, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And or
really
it's moving to, BBC, whatever, BritBox or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that streaming thing, or slowly those other ones are sucking away all of the really good things that I wanted Netflix for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I know we're getting overly long a little bit here, guys, but that's why WB teamed up with HBO Max or vice versa, because you got to have something. CBS All Access has Star Trek, and that'll probably be able to ride that. They might have to change their pricing structure because price-wise they can't compete.
No.
They're not putting out enough good stuff. I mean, the stuff they put out is good. They're not putting out enough compared to what the other ones are putting. So it becomes hard decisions. They're going to become the one where people get it for a month, binge, and then cancel it and go on with their life.
Yep. And like I said, the only thing I'm watching on CBS is Discovery. That's it.
But there's a lot of stuff. Like, I could watch NCIS. They have a million
Correct.
episodes of NCIS. I love NCIS, so it
You
can
could.
be worth it if I had more time. I don't currently have more time, but hey, so be interested to see where this goes. Good luck, Netflix. Amazon Prime will always have it, because Amazon Prime is a tack on to you getting Amazon Prime for all the other benefits too. Oh, and here's some videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus The Expanse. And they've actually throttled back on The Expanse being canceled after season 6. They're going to go on hiatus. And they made a good point to finish off on, is that maybe the idea of canceling a series goes away. Maybe it's like, we'll just take a break, come back later when we got fresh ideas, or, give it some time and come back. That's a great idea.
Or throw spin-offs in the same universe.
Yeah. If you do it right, it'll be great. I'm John.
Guys, we really appreciate everybody coming in and listening and watching us. Next week, of course, Kathy is going to be streaming Tuesday through Friday, working on her oil paints. I will be working on this model a little bit off stream because we will not be here next week. There will be no show on Sunday, but of course, Kathy will be around.
But John may try to do a test stream of something to see if it works. We'll see how his week goes, because it's crazy times.
Yeah. So,
no promises, but I'll try.
Guys, please watch out for each other. Please check on each other. I'm going to actually send y'all to Epic Duck Studios again when we're done here.
And take care of yourselves too. I mean, we can spend so much time taking care of each other. We don't take care of ourselves. You gotta do balance. Yourself, everyone else. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone is around to help you. We got to stick together. That's how we're gonna make it through all these crazy times and everything.
For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm still John.
I'm Kathy.
Good night, people. Great
Good night.
Just said I was just John. That'd be apropos, but like a callback to the movie.
John.
Just John. You'll know.
Make sure you hit that button up there to go to Epic Duck. At least go there and hit a follow.
You're
and
not
like.
John Smallberry, are you?
I am not Sean Smallberry, and I am Monkey Boy though.